I happen to think there are 6 areas you need to focus on to get prepared for pro wrestling training. And we're talking about all of them next. I'm Mike Quackenbush, and this is Till We Make It. And throughout my career, I've been really fortunate. I've worked in front of the cameras as a pro wrestler, referee, ring announcer, and commentator. And I've worked behind the scenes too, as a promoter, booker, agent, coach, and consultant. And right here on Till We Make It, I make videos for pro wrestlers at every stage of their journey. I do this in part because when I was breaking in, when I was first starting out in professional wrestling, I had no coach to teach me. I had no mentor to guide me. And I think the lack of that resource of knowledge, of wisdom, of experience played a real role in my ultimate career goals going unfulfilled. And I don't want that fate to befall you, my friend. I want you to have all the know-how you could possibly need at your fingertips any time you need it. That's why I make Till We Make It. And if you are as passionate about the craft as I am, well, consider joining the Till We Make It tribe. Subscribe down below. Leave me one of these while you're at it. Enable notifications so you never miss out on a video. And now, let's dive in. In all, I'm going to talk about 6 areas of focus with you today. 3 are physical, 3 are mental. But I got to preface all that talk with this. There is nothing you can do, and I truly mean nothing, to adequately prepare you for day 1 of pro wrestling school. Growing up, I played soccer, baseball, water polo, I was on the swim team and the wrestling team, and none of that was any preparation for my first day in professional wrestling. And there's a reason why every other video made on this topic, like the one by World Beater Wrestling, the one by Coach Josh Gary, and the one by Joey Chaos of Santino Brothers, will tell you the exact same thing. There is nothing like pro wrestling training. Is it great if you are on a team involved in athletics? Absolutely, you might learn some valuable skills. Is it great to have been taught discipline through the martial arts before you start pro wrestling school? Absolutely, but none of that is adequate preparation for what you're gonna face on day 1 of pro wrestling training. I have also noticed this trend. When people ask me what they can do to prepare for pro wrestling school, their underlying motive is to delay their start date. They're looking for any excuse out there to not actually start right now. And I think that's a mistake, because the sooner you start training, the sooner you are wrestling. And yes, you could go and get in great shape by doing burpees and squats at your gym all day, every day. Or you could get in shape in the ring doing the thing we are all passionate about. Which of those 2 things sounds more appealing to you? And, like I just stated, there's nothing you can do that's going to adequately prepare you for taking bumps, or getting some chops, or hitting the ropes. So all of that aside, let's start with the 3 physical areas of focus, the ones pertaining to your body. And yes, you could think of these as preparatory, but I prefer to think of them as supplemental, because these are all things you will continue to do even after you enroll in a pro wrestling school. Up first, you're going to do calisthenics 5 days a week. Basic things you could be doing at home. Push-ups, sit-ups, squats, burpees, etc. And start small with any exercise that is new to you. If you've never done Hindu squats before, don't set a goal of 100 on day 1. Start with 20. If you can comfortably do 20, try 30. If you can comfortably do 30, bump up, bump up. Bump up until you get to 100, but don't start there. And yes, there are going to be days at training you might do 250, you might do 500 squats, but nobody starts there. Start small and level up gradually. If you overdo it too early, not only will you set your progress back, but you run the risk of injury through overtraining. The second area to focus on is weight training. And again, you need to start small. You can build yourself up through making constant small gains to the point that you could max out a machine at your gym, or train to the point of failure, meaning you simply cannot push the weight one more time. But that will come. That's not where you're going to start. Set very modest goals at the beginning and build up to those things. Do not expect that in week 1 you're going to be beating your gym's record on bench press or deadlift or squat. That's not realistic. The third and final area of focus on the physical side of the fence is your cardiovascular condition. You need to run, to cycle, to swim. If you have high-intensity interval training available to you, consider trying that. But again, start with modest goals. Don't go crazy right out of the gate. If your first day in the pool, you attempt to do 400 laps, that will probably end poorly. Okay, so let's jump from the physical side of the fence over to the mental side of the fence. And before we do, if you're enjoying this kind of content and you want more of what I make for fellow pro wrestlers, consider joining our community over on Patreon. I'll put a link down below. There, you'll get access to exclusive videos, excerpts from my books, podcasts, essays, and unreleased material that you won't find anywhere else. All right, let's dive in. So I'm editing together today's video for you, and you'll never guess whose inaccurate finger happened to delete the exact clip that is meant to go here. But at the very top, I talked about having 6 areas of focus for you, and I can't just go and deliver 5 now, can I? So we got to talk about performance. Being in the ring is basically being on stage, and you'll have to cultivate some performance skills. So, if your school has a theater program or a drama club, consider enrolling. If those aren't options you have available to you, I don't mind telling you, there is no performance art with a skill set that overlaps professional wrestling better than improvisation. Most comedy theaters offer improv classes, and to find out what's available to you, it really is as simple as Googling improv classes near me. This next area of focus that I think we have to talk about is public speaking. To prepare for the challenge of delivering promotional messages, cutting promos, you're going to have to be comfortable speaking with confidence to a room full of strangers. And yes, that's something that improv classes, which we just discussed, can help with. But there are free options available as well. Things like open mics for stand-up, music, storytelling, or poetry recitation. There's a coffee house 10 minutes from where I live, which has an open mic story slam every other Sunday afternoon. Anyone can sign up and tell their story to the room. And I don't mind telling you, these aren't professional orators you're going to hear in there. They're people just like us trying to get in reps. Open mics are a great free, low-stakes way to develop this skill. And the final area of focus that I want you to aim your brain at is the craft of storytelling. Because ultimately, good storytelling is good pro wrestling. And there are no 2 better books on the craft of storytelling than John Truby's The Anatomy of Story and Robert McKee's Story, both of which I will link you to down below in the description. If you're looking for a video on how those concepts apply directly to what we make in pro wrestling, I got you covered. I've got a series on exactly that called Movies Are Matches, and you can start watching it by clicking here right now. Or to find out what you can expect on your first day of pro wrestling training, click on this video so you can keep on learning.